Hello everyone, this is Connor with Shopscape Lawn and Landscape. Today I want to talk a little bit about the hiring process, employees, training, discipline, all that kind of stuff. So just to start off, when you're hiring employees, there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can ask family members when you're trying to find employees. You can ask family members if they know anybody. You can ask friends. One of the benefits of being my age is having the friend pool, right? So kids you know from high school and college and all that kind of stuff. You can hire them. But at some point, you're going to have to hire adults, especially when getting employees to drive trucks and such. If they're over the age of 25, you're going to get a lot better deal on your insurance. So that is definitely something to think about. I started by hiring high school friends and younger guys. And one of the biggest issues with younger guys is that they don't necessarily have a ton of bills, and they don't have a ton of motivation sometimes to come to work. That's not always true. Taking advantage of part-time help and college helpers and that kind of thing, where we find the most benefit with that is with hiring part-time and having them work when we're really busy. So in the spring, there is a drop-off in work around after the 4th of July. We do a lot of mulching and kind of property cleanups, light landscaping, so not really installs. We do a little bit of tear out type stuff, a little bit of install, but it's very rare. We might get into that a little more this year, but my trouble with that is training employees how to do everything. And then again, if you have one employee that's kind of carrying the team and you lose them, that could become an issue. So what I like about mulching and pulling weeds and all that kind of stuff is it pays a lot better than lawn care, at least the way we price it. And it is very easy to train people how to do. So showing a high school kid how to lay mulch, it's not super complicated. It's actually harder to train up guys to run lawnmowers and weed whips and all that kind of stuff, in my experience. So when hiring, we use Indeed. I've had pretty good luck with that. I know there's some other companies. With Indeed, we don't pay any money. It's all free. And I've actually had pretty good results with that. I know it can be a bit of a money pit, but if you're looking for employees, it's definitely worth spending the money. Don't be afraid to spend money trying to find employees and things like that. You kind of take your marketing skills and use it towards employees. Something I want you guys to think about is if you find a really good employee, I'm just going to make up numbers. Let's say they can make you $100,000 a year in revenue. What client in your business are you going to sell a $100,000 job? You're probably not doing that. So when you hire these employees, especially if you think they're going to be really good, they're going to be the biggest sale you make all year. So you definitely want to attract employees, but you also, with your ads, you do want to weed some people out. So I always recommend, whether you do or not, we do random drug testing in there. It just helps avoid a lot of the riffraff, to be honest. You don't want guys who are going on benders and have, problems with alcohol and drugs. And obviously I talked about that in my last video, so I'm kind of contradicting myself. If you haven't seen my last video and you're a young guy, definitely check that out. But anyway, so hiring process, you definitely want to weed some people out, but at the same time, you want to attract good help, and you are in a position where you're trying to hire people, and you also want to treat people. You don't want to treat them like they're going to be around for 5 minutes, because if you do that, they are going to be around for 5 minutes. So you want to treat them like you would want to be treated. So the next thing I want to talk about training, you definitely want to have a lot of patience when training. It can be very frustrating, especially the first few employees you have to train. I had, it was definitely, you're looking at the clock and you're like, we're supposed to be pumping out, $150 an hour with 2 guys, and we're pumping out like 100. But that's just part of training. Training's very expensive, but it has to be done. And you want to try and invest in employees that you see potential in. But at the same time, and there could definitely be contradiction to this, but just in my experience, if you can find a guy, I hate to say it, if you can find a guy with a great driving record who's not on drugs, and even if they're a little bit slower of a worker, that's kind of the ticket, guys, because a lot of people in our industry have drug problems, and you don't want to get yourself into that. And you also do want to look into their background checks and all that stuff, criminal history, all that kind of thing. You definitely want to look into that if it's possible in your state. So I would definitely look into that for you guys that are hiring. Pay as much as you can for great employees. So if you have an employee that's really kicking ass and you have the opportunity to kind of promote them, I would definitely go ahead and do that. Right off the bat, you want to pay your employees better than your competition, but you also want to leave room to give them raises. Because if you just start off by giving someone $30 an hour, they're going to be entitled to that money, and they're going to think that they're worth $30 an hour, where to start off, they can only be worth $20. But you could grow them up to that $30 an hour. So it just kind of depends, but I do recommend leaving some wiggle room for raises because you want to be able to show people that you appreciate them and give them raises for doing phenomenal work and leading and all that kind of stuff. So motivation. So how do you motivate employees? This is a tough one. And a lot of it is just how the employee is. If they're going to be a ass-kicking worker, they're going to be that. If they're going to be reliable, they're going to be reliable. If they're going to be unreliable, they're probably just going to be unreliable. I have had some things where employees commute, and right off the bat, they're not used to getting across town, and they don't know exactly how long it's going to take. So one of my best employees showed up late, like the first couple of days, and I was ready to get rid of him, but it actually worked out, and now he's on time, and we don't have that issue. So sometimes you do have to just give a little bit of grace, especially if someone's making a commute. Traffic can be weird and that kind of stuff. So anyway, being a young leader, or before we talk about that, discipline. So how do you discipline employees? And this kind of goes into being a young leader. You want to treat people how you want to be treated. You definitely don't want to just scream at employees. People, especially now, are very sensitive. But I'll just be honest, like if my employer started screaming at me, I'd quit too. I mean, I'm not going to put up with that shit. So you always want to be respectful to your employees. That's a big thing for me. If I feel disrespected, that's probably the thing that pisses me off the most. So you definitely want to show your employees respect. And when they make mistakes, which totally happens, you have to stay calm. You can't, honestly, when we were kind of in between employees and people wouldn't show up, I would see the smile, I would just laugh. I would just go, because what are you going to do? Sometimes it just, things don't work out, and you gotta just laugh, otherwise, you're going to have a heart attack because having employees is definitely very stressful. So, and part of being a young leader is giving people the opportunity to grow and being just as mature as an adult. If you're an immature young leader, you're not going to be a leader. You have to be mature. You have to treat yourself and think of yourself as an adult. I'm getting a call coming in. I hope that doesn't mess up my video. Yeah, so I think I pretty much covered everything. I think that was pretty much it. So I'm not the most experienced with hiring employees. I've probably had a total of maybe 20 over the years. And as we grow, we're definitely going through a lot more, and I'm learning a ton. So hopefully in a year, I can redo this video and have even more information for you guys. But for right now, if you have any advice or something you'd like to share, please leave it in the comments down below. I'm not trying to mess with the YouTube algorithm or get myself more views. I could care less. I just want to help out a few people. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know I say a lot. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys have any ideas for video topics that I could share, like I said, feel free to leave that in the comments below. Or if you'd like to reach out to me on Instagram, it is Shopscape. So the same way it's spelled on the YouTube channel, Shopscape, SCHOPSCAPE. It's all lowercase, and you can reach out to me on Instagram. You can DM me. I usually get back to people somewhat reasonably quickly. It totally depends, but feel free to reach out to me on there, and we have some videos of our work and stuff like that on there. And I do post on my story. Sometimes I get a little wild, but maybe something to check out. So everybody have a wonderful day. I will speak with you guys soon, and Shopscape is out.